Hello everyone, and welcome to another Digimon Ghost Game video. This time I'm going to be talking about this week's episode, which is episode 62, The Strange Floor, which, and at the risk of sounding like every video game journalist ever, this episode started off with a Persona-esque feel, or at least from the Persona games that I've played, where we have the characters appearing in some weird dimension after going in an elevator where colors are all weird and there are monsters walking around and you're getting random keyholes on your face. While that doesn't explicitly happen in any particular Persona games, it does feel like something that would happen in a Persona game. It just made me, it just reminded me so much of 3, 4, and 5, kind of meshed into a different kind of setting, but it still really felt like vaguely Persona-esque or Shin Megami Tensei-esque in going to this weird dimension where there are Digimon, or at least monsters, and weird things happening, like keyholes appearing in your body that are actually just complete holes. You're getting an entire keyhole in your face, and it goes, if you put your hand through it, it just goes through the rest of your head. It's fairly graphic, and it's fairly kind of a bit eerie. This episode overall made me just feel a little bit creeped out. Not in the usual just like with last week's episode, oh, there's a corpse. That is inherently creepy. We have just a creepy atmosphere happen in this episode. So we find out that Digimon are kind of taking up residence in certain floors on this apartment building, and if you go into the floor, the Digimon essentially kick you out or put keyholes on you. I'm not really sure what they're trying to quiz you on. They keep on saying wrong, wrong, whenever you try to open doors. It's kind of a little bit creepy. Imagine just getting evicted, not by your landlord, but by terrifying monsters, and then you also get keyholes on your face. So Ruli and her friend go to investigate. They end up getting separated, and she ends up getting keyholes on her face. She sticks her hand through. It is very creepy. Then we have Espimon deciding he's going to run away from home because Hiro is not the real Hiro, and says if he was the real Hiro, he would be able to evolve. Now we have Espimon showing up in this apartment, I'm guessing because he's run away from home, this is his new residence, and he finds Ruli's friend, and he gives her a key in the face, which sends them outside. Meanwhile, Hiro, Ruli, and Kiyoshiro are also investigating, but also get kicked out of the apartment building, along with a lot of other humans who are just in the apartment building. Then we have Clavis Angelmon show up, who, again, is an older Digimon, but we haven't really seen much of him before. I think he might have been animated before, maybe in Cross Wars, in the Angel Kingdom, but otherwise we haven't really seen much of him. And he basically just shows up and he's just it is forbidden to give a key to a human because Ruli's friend has, by the way, a key in her face. The hole's still there with the key sticking out. We have the main characters take them to that digital dimension, but Ruli's friend comes along too because she's got a key in her face. It's very uncanny. The characters then fight, but they're not quite able to stand up to Clavis Angelmon, and then we have Espimon yell out to Hiro to make him evolve, to prove that he is once and for all the real Hiro. And Hiro does so, and we finally get Espimon evolving to his adult form, Hover Espimon, and he's able to help Cirrusmon out in the battle, and effectively just kind of stop Clavis Angelmon long enough so they can work out how to kind of coexist with Clavis Angelmon and the Digimon who live in this building, and they're not to interfere with the humans who are already hanging out in the building. So he's okay. And that's the episode. So in terms of this episode, I feel like it's very weird to have an adult being the one that saves the day. We have 3 Megas who struggle. We have Lamortmon get frozen, rather, he doesn't get to evolve to Mega. And then we have Amphimon, who is Mega, and also gets frozen, and Cirrusmon is kind of having to fight himself. So it's weird that an adult was the thing that they needed to defeat Clavis Angelmon. Yes, Hover Espimon is able to kind of smoke screen up the battlefield and grab Clavis Angelmon's weapons so Siriusmon can actually get a hit in. So it does kind of make sense, but it just feels kind of weird that we're using the adult here. But and they kind of write it in, so I can't be too upset about it. In terms of this being the end of the Hiro isn't real, quote unquote storyline, that feels kind of weird. It feels like, oh, he really was just wrong. He really was just thinking that, oh, the real Hiro would be able to make me evolve, and I haven't evolved yet, so this isn't the real Hiro. That feels kind of weird. I know that the end of last episode had Espimon wanting to evolve, and then I guess that led on to this week's episode, so that's fine. That is actually less episodic than we've had for Ghost Game, so that is interesting that we're kind of not doing filler anymore. We're doing like little bite-sized bits of plot throughout the episode, so they kind of lead into each other, which might assist the show in wrapping up. However, it feels kind of weird that we didn't really show why Espimon thought that Hiro wasn't real. This whole time it's just been kind of vague, like him just saying, hey, you're not the real Hiro. And only last week did he start to say, hey, I wish I could evolve. And this week he said, if you were the real Hiro, I could evolve. So he's only just now put those two together. He's never said previously why he doesn't think that Hiro is the real Hiro. So I'm almost disappointed that this is how that, again, quote-unquote storyline wraps up, of him not thinking that Hiro is the real Hiro. Maybe I was trying to put too much thought into it, too much, like, I guess, Atmonness. It's not even a word, but how Atmon would have something that was a lot deeper meaning behind it rather than just something simple like, oh, he just wanted to evolve the whole time. Where I thought that Espimon was maybe looking for his Hiro's father, or possibly Hiro himself wasn't real or was replaced by an android. Again, that's very Atmon, so I shouldn't really expect Ghost Game to do Atmon when obviously it's not Atmon. And I kind of expected some little thing to do with that being important to the plot about, oh, how this Hiro isn't the real Hiro. Maybe Hiro has some twin that he doesn't know about, or maybe Gamamon's identity is quote-unquote the real Hiro. So I was expecting something a little bit more along those lines rather than just, he's just wrong. It makes that whole, he isn't the real Hiro kind of a little bit more annoying. A lot of people were already annoyed by Espimon and you're not the real Hiro. I was kind of giving it the benefit of the doubt, but now we've come to the end of that again storyline. It just feels like it kind of petered out. Like it sort of went somewhere, so that's fine. I can't be too mad where it actually did something for the story, and it did. But it just feels like it's kind of like a little, kind of like tiny little bit of a, you blow into a trumpet and instead of a brrr, you get a brrr. You don't get silence, which would be if it didn't go anywhere. You get kind of like this little like wet fart of a noise of just like it went somewhere, but it didn't go anywhere amazing or extravagant. It didn't mean too much for the plot. It had its own kind of storyline in itself, but and I wouldn't even say I'm disappointed by it. I just would have preferred if there was something more. It kind of made me go, oh, okay. I guess that's one way to finish it. Of course, it's not completely empty. There's actually some meaning to it of he wanted to evolve or he wanted Hiro to prove himself, but this just feels a little bit lacking to what it could have been. Again, I'm not too disappointed by it. I just feel like I expected too much from this moment. Overall, the episode was fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with this episode. I don't think it's an amazing episode. It's not, the best episode ever or anything. It's just kind of inoffensive. It's just kind of an episode that happened. We needed an episode for Espimon to evolve to Hover Espimon. We've had Hover Espimon's design for ages now. So it feels kind of wild that we're only just getting him now, when we've had Hover Espimon for almost as long as we've had Espimon's design. We had like Espimon's design in Psycho Jump, and then we had a few weeks later we had the dim roster where we had Hover Espimon's name and design, and I believe we've also had him in the card game, not 100%, or at least an upcoming or newly released set. Hover Espimon exists in it, so it's kind of weird that we're just only getting him now. But I guess it had to happen, so evolution episodes, when they just have to happen, I can't be too upset about. You have to show a new evolution. Obviously, there has to be an episode where you get that evolution, and it can't be combined with any other episode. Like, imagine if this was a Gulas Gamamon or a Regulus Gamamon episode. It would have kind of felt a little bit, like, forced. Like, oh, we can evolve now. It would have felt a little bit too much like we've had similar in Try, where they're just like, oh yes, let's evolve. Or even Alden, that Hurricane Touchdown, where we get Holydramon and Seraphimon debut, but they debut for like 2 seconds to get Magnamon and Rapidmon Armor to debut as well. So I wouldn't want something like that where it's just like Hover Espimon shows up for something else to happen, because the focus would be shifted away from that. So it's fine that it's its own episode. But overall, this was a totally inoffensive episode. It's not an amazing episode, but it's not a terrible episode. I do have complaints, but the complaints don't really relate too much to the episode, rather than things like Espimon in previous episodes feeling like it doesn't go anywhere, with him saying you're not the real hero, which is just the payoff. This episode itself, in a vacuum, doesn't do anything wrong. I can't criticize it for how previous episodes are, particularly. However, the animation in this episode, like, I can't finish off this video without just screaming from the rooftops about how much I love the animation in this episode. The fight was just so well animated. The creepiness of the weird floor, the strange floor, with all the colours going around. Yes, it was very kind of, it felt like a fever dream, but not in like a bad or a weird way, just kind of like in a nostalgic way. It's like when you think back on a nightmare or a fever dream that you had a while ago, you might feel almost nostalgic for it. Same goes for any of the Shin Megami Tensei or Persona series. It felt very much like that, very Persona-esque, as literally every video game journalist seems to write about most video games. Hey, that sure is Persona, for having anything slightly to do with monsters even. But in any case, it was a fine episode. Animation was phenomenal. The creepy atmosphere, always very much loved. But the episode itself, it's kind of inoffensive, just kind of okay. People seem to only like really love Ghost Game episodes or really hate Ghost Game episodes, and that's completely valid, but I'm saying it's okay for you just to think an episode was okay. It was just fine. I don't think I have many complaints about the episode overall, just about other aspects of it, like the lead up, but it was fine. Animation, however, fantastic, top job. The animators are doing a fantastic job for Ghost Game. It's probably the best animated series of Digimon. Not that it's that hard to be the best animated series of Digimon, but it's just great to look at. Chef's kiss, well done to all involved. So those are my thoughts about episode 62 of Digimon Ghost Game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like this video for Espimon finally evolving. I feel like I've been waiting for it to happen since Espimon basically debuted, especially because we've had Digimon like Rudamon be able to evolve very shortly after debuting. Espimon's just kind of been there, not evolving. So hit that like button for Espimon being able to evolve finally. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Because I'm still trying to make 15,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I have, 10 months left? Less than 10, more than 10 months? I don't know, time is weird. So I would like to hit that this year. So that'd be exciting. So please help me out by subscribing and, of course, checking out my other videos. Because if you liked me talking about Digimon in this episode, wait till you see the other 1,000 Digimon episodes that I've talked about. So let me know what your favourite episode of Digimon is overall as well in the comment section below. So in any case, I'm going to wrap up this video and I will see you on the next video. Bye!